We are the only provider in the market to successfully handle every single touch point across the entire member journey, thinking online and offline components of that journey, and ultimately allowing businesses to meet their consumers where they are and deliver authentic brand experiences and buying experiences that increase revenue. So we're going to talk a little bit more. You'll see here the logos on the screen as to some of the clients that I'll be referencing as we go through the presentation today. So we're going to start by going through the modern member experience. And for yourself, think about if you're a member of an organization or a subscriber. Members are definitely interacting with organizations across more channels than ever. It could be a mobile app, it could be a website, it could be a social channel. And we're expecting as members to have seamless, personalized experiences across those touch points. We want to have engagement that feels personal to us. And so to drive value and amplify the efforts and foster loyalty, organizations like yourselves need to be able to adopt a cohesive omni-channel approach that can meet your members where they are, integrating the various interaction methods. So creating an effective engagement strategy begins with understanding your audience first. And then once you know your audience, what are their expectations? And then why are they seeking out that experience with you? And then monetizing that and leveraging that in the right way. So knowing that we started with some logos that are that are nonprofits and donation organizations, we recognize that donors are also wanting to be treated more like members and a part of what that brand stands for. So we want to talk a little bit more about this membership experience and understanding that they want seamless, personalized experiences, and we're going to share with you more about how you can do that. We work with 65 nonprofit clients and membership organizations, and what we hear from donors is this idea of personalization being paramount, and then integrating that personalization into the communication methods. So they want. We want to ensure that donors feel as though that we know them and know why they care about that organization. 40% of respondents are more likely to donate if they receive that personalized experience. We have to tailor the message so that then we see an increase in conversion rates when they do actually engage with your communication. And knowing that 20% increase retention when you do use a personalized communication. But in order to do that, you have to know your donor and what they care about. So we're going to talk to you about how you can do that. Let's start with just what does the membership experience look like? And I've already touched on this, and I want you to think about this from your personal view. When we think about just what is a modern membership experience? So it needs to be cohesive across offline and online channels. So think about a campaign where you're using direct mail, as well as social media or text, SMS engagement, and you're pushing your messages to your member base. Your messages and your visuals need to be cohesive, and you want to expand your support or you need to expand that cohesion to also your support and your member care. So thinking about the experience all the way from the time that you're courting them and acquiring them to the time that they're engaging with your brand and getting support to learn more, to participate deeper. And then secondly, we know that they want avenues for participation. So in order to diversify your revenue stream, you need to be able to offer ways for your members to engage with your brand through participation. Like, let's think about an event, attending an event, or donating, or having advocacy webinars or content that they can take part in. Maybe they're a fundraiser for you. Maybe they are attending classes or taking advantage of your resources. But we definitely know that experience goes into an engagement with your brand more than just making a payment or paying a due or donating money. Next, we have to be careful about removing participation barriers and meeting your members where they are. So if they are out on social and they want to engage with you on social, you need to be there to respond and to push them in the right direction to continue that engagement with your brand. Offering more channels for engagement, whether that might be recurring options or more payment methods. So just removing barriers so that you can see that good participation. And then giving donors or members that incentives that tie into your unique brand. And it doesn't have to be gifts. It can be a newsletter. It could say a special newsletter for your organization that talks about what you're up to. What are some new happenings? So giving your high, value members and donors a way to see more about what you're doing and why they should continue to care and be engaging with your brand. We have one organization that does a membership part to their donations, and they offer a lapel pin. So they send their certain members a lapel pin with a letter that really creates this membership feeling, and then they continue to communicate with them about what's going on within that specific part of their organization. And then lastly, feeling seen and valued. So this is where the personalization comes in, acknowledging, say, a donor anniversary or a birthday, or sending messages that can incorporate why they're giving or why they're part of your membership program. Just letting them give you feedback as well. So if you give a survey and you take their feedback, then responding to that feedback and having them feel as though you are caring about why they're a part of your membership program or a part of your organization. So make sure the thing is, as you think about all these things and a part of the experience, you have to have technology and partners that can help you power each of these areas. So that's an important thing to remember when we're talking about the experience. I'm going to start with a quick understanding of a client that we that we work with, American Heart Association. Several of you, I'm sure, have heard of them. They are the world's leading voluntary health organization that's devoted to fighting cardiovascular disease and saving people from heart disease and stroke. They have a wide variety of ways for members to be engaged with their organization, from the content usage, resources, products, programs, events, donating. They have classes, CPR classes. So they just have such a wide variety of ways to engage with their association. And so it's a great case study here. We've worked with them for, 15 plus years. We do a lot of different work with them to power these things that I just noted as to how their members and their donors and their customers engage with them. So I just want to start there on the left about just the omni-channel communication. So understanding that they need to have scalable donor engagement strategies. And if you look underneath with the channel expansion, CDS Global is helping them power the phone, email, direct mail, and chat functions that are ways that they're communicating with their donors as well as their participants that are a part of some of their events. They also have some youth programs that it isn't necessarily the participant that's taking part in their youth program, but it's the parent or the grandparent that's calling or interacting with them, needing information about that event. So that's an area that CDS Global powers that donor touch point. And then deepening the engagement. So making sure that when we are engaging with those donors or the event participants, we are having the same brand and mission and overall feel that donor would get when working with the AHA directly. So one example is that's very authentic and genuine to their brand that we do is they have recorded a youth ambassador, picture a little boy that's had heart illness, and he speaks about his involvement with the AHA, and they play that as hold music while someone is waiting, and actually as like an opener for when that caller engages. with our phone line. So there's other kinds of authentic connection that we do for them with specialized and personalized printing. It's at all levels, offline and online. And then just mission impact. So ensuring that we are we're taking on the administrative type services and then allowing AHA to do what they're best at, and that's growing revenue within their mission. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about how we do this across other clients too. But this is just an example so that you can understand from a real life client how we are helping power their mission. So let's start thinking about it for your organization, because you might be a membership org that's in a different industry. So let's think about it for your organization and what we've covered for donors generally, but can really be applied to members. We've hit on the importance of personalization in creating an effective strategy. You have to begin to think by understanding your unique audiences. So understanding more, here's some questions I want you to think about, just going beyond the surface level of understanding the factors that affect the relationship between your organization and your supporters. So what's motivating your supporters and how do they feel connected to your mission? What does your audience look like? What are the demographics? What are the psychographics? What motivates your supporters? How are they connected to your organization or mission? And then, what is driving impact now? In order to do that, you have to look at your data and then be able to, have that data all in one spot so that you can then start analyzing it. And with AI, that's a lot easier now than it once was. And then how do your members prefer to engage with you? Maybe you don't know that. Maybe that needs to be looked at in your data to understand more about, are they engaging? Like we know for American Heart Association, we know that more than 50% of their youth program callers, or their customer service entrants, they want to engage via chat. So that's something that you should dig into your data and learn more about. And then also just what does your audience look like? So being able to understand and segment out your audience and your members, and then maybe even your prospective members. So some things to think about as we go through these remaining slides here. We understand the expectations and motivations of your audience. So once you know that, you can start creating and crafting an overall engagement strategy and unifying that donor or member journey as they're interacting with your brand. So you think of these steps from acquisition, acquiring that member, to engaging with that member. And then what activities do you need to put in place or communications to retain them? And then once they're a loyal member, what are you going to do to elevate that experience for them to keep them and continue their engagement? Because we know that members will continue if they are engaged and they care and they are seeing the value of that membership. We're going to dig into that a little bit more. Let's just go into from an acquire perspective. When we think of acquiring a member or a donor, this is the interactions that come with a donation or a registration. Think of a gift, them giving a gift or making a payment or creating an account. So that is when they're signing up and you're acquiring them. And the channels that are that can happen on are across the board, right? So phone, mail, chat, text, in person. So those are various, offline and online components that you need to have the back office technology to power those channels so that if someone is interacting with you on your website or on their on a social channel, it feels the same and they get the same response and brand identity if they're doing it via in person at an event or sending you back a survey, a hard copy survey. So we want to ensure that the offline and the online interactions feel the same from a branding perspective. And then moving into the engage activity. So this is when they're signed up and you are engaging with them as maybe say a thank you, a receipt of some sort, an invitation to join a certain part of your organization. asking for feedback on their experience. So there's different channels that can take part in, again, offline and online, ensuring that you're meeting them where they are. Some demographics want to be communicated with more on the paper side rather than electronic and digital. So we have to understand that about our members and then treat them accordingly. And then in the retain, this is that continued engagement. This is giving them what they signed up for, helping them understand this is important and this is why I care. Tailoring your communications to things that they told you up front why they were interested. So maybe they made a gift specific to, in this case, the California wildfires. You want to talk more to them about what that was that they gave the gift for, and explain more about what they're doing, what you are doing to use that gift. That's an example of ongoing engagement and informing them of why they should continue to be a member or a donor. And then elevating, the last piece is trying to make them feel special and giving VIP communications or cross-selling merchandise or telling them about events that they can attend, or various, maybe you're hosting a leadership webinar, something that they can take part in. Could be adjusting campaigns or messaging based on price points. So as you start to have more loyalty within certain membership groups and knowing what those high value donor or member segments are, maybe adjusting your price point accordingly once you know that data. Okay, so that's a lot, but we're gonna focus more here on the donor-centric strategies. We're going to talk to you a little bit about creating authentic moments, the idea of the experience and actually understanding what your experience is for your member. It's really great for you to personally go through that experience so you can start to see where some friction spots are when you're all the way from the time that a member signs up or even hears about you. What do they experience along the way? And then where can you personalize and then drive value in meaningful ways? So not every channel is equally effective for you and your audience. So we have to select the correct channel mix and understand how each channel will work in tandem to create that overall seamless omni-channel strategy. So we have to know our capabilities. We have to identify what you can do yourself, identify where you need flexible support. So maybe it's like seasonal demand variability, or maybe you need a partner to handle your customer service. You have to identify where you may need to, just find, like maybe it's a text provider, or if you don't have any ability to do offline processing, finding a partner to be able to do offline so that it can be integrated with your online activities, things like that. And then knowing your audience, identifying your best performing channels. So, identifying the channels where your audience has been asking, that they've been asking for, and analyzing the ways that your audience interacts with other brands and how you can incorporate similar tactics. And then prioritizing, allocating resources to your best performing channels, and then focusing on uplifting the ones resonating with your audience the most. And of course, I've already touched on this, but consistency, making sure that your brand feels the same across all the different touch points and channels, and focusing on success every step of the way rather than trying to move too fast. Hitting success at each step is important. Moving on, if I can get my clicker to work. Okay, so we all know that we have more data than ever in our worlds, and it's the foundation for creating strategies that drive impact and revenue. So allowing you to know your audience can measure the effectiveness and objectively identify areas for growth. So we're gonna use your existing data, look for patterns, and identify gaps and areas for growth to find your best performing areas to uplift and expand upon. And then how are you collecting your data, and how is the data flowing between systems? We work with several clients that have data in many different systems. And sometimes, depending on how the organization is structured, there could be data that is regionalized, that's in different systems by region. And there isn't a single point where all that data lives, which can then make measuring and understanding the data more difficult. So that's another key thing to look at, is if you don't have a technology or a partner that can put all of your data into one single spot so you can make good decisions from it, definitely should evaluate that. And CDS Global can help you with that. So moving on, we're going to talk about something we all hear about all the time right now, is AI, and how it, we live with it in our personal and our professional lives all the time. And the responsible usage of AI in your organization is important, and we can't overlook it. And so we've at CDS Global been doing all kinds of evaluation and testing and usage of AI within the services that we provide, and how it can power our membership and nonprofit clients. And so it's been really exciting to see how fast and powerful and efficient it is. So we're going to talk a little bit about the power of AI through a service that is predictive modeling that we offer. And we've really harnessed the power of AI within these predictive modeling services. You can identify high value members or donors to focus your efforts and learn the best time to reach out to them, and create individualized offers that can maximize engagement and or giving overall. So just some quick stats here. Nonprofits that have used our AI predictive modeling service saw a 35% increase in revenue and a 14% increase in average per donation value, with no impact to retention rates. So it just really tells you how important it is to use data to focus on the right areas and know what you're asking for if you're giving that for price or for donation amount. So this is an example. CDS Global's AI services are fantastic at taking your data and turning it into actionable strategies that can inform you as you craft your campaigns. This is an example of our predictive modeling tool, Global Insights at Work. It compares clients' data to similar organizations and identifies the likelihood that a donor will renew their gift at a presented offer value, and creates a price sensitivity score for each unique member. And then we can take this sensitivity score and add that to their profile to create customized offers that prevent churn and maximize renewal and revenue potential for you. That's just an example of how our predictive modeling AI technology can power your organization. This is another example of our Global Insights tool. It takes data that was shown in the last slide and provides insights and recommendations. One of the key value points of leveraging AI is the ability to segment donors based on scoring factors and then identify patterns and actions, allowing you to personalize the campaigns and offers or your price points, and it will drive engagement. So, for example, this chart was created with insights and recommendations based on running the price sensitivity model that we looked at on the last slide and comparing it with data from another model that evaluates the churn risk of a member. So in this chart, the lower left quadrant is an identified segment for price increases because they're the least price sensitive with the lowest risk of churn. So the identified action is to offer additional products or drive expansion or cross-sell opportunities for that segment, or maybe even proposing a higher price or donation amount. All the value and power of using data. So here's some use cases for personalization. We know how important it is to engage members with personalized offers, and we know that we have to be we have to understand that we only have so much time, and we can't be handwriting custom donor acknowledgement letters to be personalized. So we need to do the best of both worlds and give the personalization to donors without exhausting our resources. So a few ways that we have, that some of our brands that we work with that have added personalization to enhance donor experiences, have been sending out welcome packages. So on the top left, you'll see the imagery there, that includes brochures or inserts or a personalized letter from the CEO, or window clings. Some of the clients have begun using AI to personalize the letters with donor information that goes into these welcome packets. To incentivize signing up for a recurring sustainer gift, some brands have started to personalize the letter and a premium gift that ties back to the mission, and it can be a symbol of the organization's mission, so your donors can proudly display their support and feel as though they're part of that membership. Many of our clients also send out an annualized personalized tax statement with a summary of the donor's giving and the impact of their gifts. This creates another connection point, tying their donations to your mission. This is another great area to use AI to achieve the personalization without a big lift from your team. And then one example with the octopus is you'll see a premium fulfillment for specialized promotions. So this was an example for a current client that did a limited edition octopus plush to sustainers, so sustainer givers, for their Earth Month challenge. And this special plush was incentivized giving while also driving value for why they are part of that organization, that they care for nature lovers. And then donor care is a major component of building a great experience, or member care. So when you think about, we've been hearing from our clients that they need multilingual agents. But because certain languages can be difficult, or staffing for those languages, we are getting ready to launch an AI translation option that allows mission advocates, customer service agents, we call them mission advocates, already that are familiar with your system and your organization, and we would be providing the support by using that AI translation option, and that comes in over 200 languages. So we've continued to expand our channels and our enhanced chat engagement as well, for including chat bots that can respond for FAQs, audio chat, co-browsing options, and being able to integrate it to chat widgets into your app if that's what you would like. So lots of ways to support donor and members as they're engaging with you after they're a part of your organization. And then lastly, we've seen great success in clients that use QR codes that are on printed promotions that are personalized to that donor. And so that can drive the donors to individualized URLs, and that will create custom offers so that they're more likely to engage. So just as a high level, there's a lot of ways that you can use AI, and a few best practices we wanted to just note is, the ability to start small and understand that scaling can happen gradually. Knowing that your data is critical, quality data is critical. So having that all in one spot and making sure that it's clean and it's usable. Collaborating with experts, bringing in people to help you understand where AI can best fit in your organization. We at CDS Global, we call it responsible AI usage. So understanding that it has to be ethical and checked, and a part of your overall strategy. And that goes into the second to last one there about the quality assurance procedures, and looking at what is coming from your AI usage, and then adapting and learning from it, and growing, and maybe even stopping usage of it in certain places and evaluating other places it could be more powerful. We did create for our clients an amplifying impact for our AI, and that's specific to the nonprofit industry. It is out on our website and can be accessed there if you're interested in kind of a step-by-step, a little bit more detailed approach to amplifying results with AI. Okay, so we are at the end, and be thinking about questions. We want to hear your questions or your thoughts in chat, but we're going to go through some key takeaways that you can take after this and start to implement into your organization. We've already talked about knowing your audience and this giving you the ammunition to make better decisions and tailoring your engagement strategy to meet your members where they are. Second, the consistent communication being critical and across all the channels that matter. So keeping a cohesive message across channels, representing your brand authentically, and then making sure your members are getting a great experience at every interaction across their journey. And knowing that you need to know what that journey is from start to finish. Even think like the automated emails that go out at certain points in their experience, making sure that those are timed correctly. I had a recent experience where we had purchased some software here at CDS Global, and some of the timed emails that I was getting on an automated basis were definitely not hitting at the right time based on where we were at on our onboarding and our implementation. And so it's thinking about the timing and the message within those is really important. And then personalization powers purpose, making your supporters feel valued by your organization and increasing engagement, retention, and loyalty. Find ways to personalize the experience with your brand that feel authentic and stay true to who your organization is, but also show that you know who that member or that donor is. It could be simple. It could just be like their birthday and acknowledging their birthday. Key pieces of information and data that you already have about your members. And then elevating your brand, finding ways to strengthen the connection between your supporters and your mission by infusing your branding into the interactions, doing something simple as a special message in your hold music. That's an example that we've seen with American Heart that's been very powerful. It really brings their brand to life in a situation where their donor is already calling in and interacting with them, and it's a great affinity. And then understanding the strategy, you have to have strategies that can scale with you. So thinking about the big picture as you plan and make sure you maintain a seamless experience across the entire journey as you expand. Prioritize and know when to find partners to help you as you grow so that you can continue focusing on your mission or your core organizational strategies. And then lastly, as we talked about with the AI, AI is like a superpower, having it supercharge your insights and your impact. It's powerful and it can enhance your efforts with limited resources. And so now is the time to start thinking about maybe what challenges you have and then how it could be solved with certain AI components. And then it possibly could just be supplementing what you're doing today. So following best practices and then implementing it responsibly. So those are the key takeaways that I would say from today that you can start to think about and implement into your organization. Okay, so we like to tell our prospective clients that we want to start amplifying your impact and your revenue. And so if there is anything that you learned today that you're interested in learning more about as to how CDS Global can help you, we would love to hear from you, and you can reach out to us on our website. There is a connect with us button that you can certainly reach out to, or you can find my information from this webinar and reach out to me directly. Are there any questions? Let's see here. Okay, stop sharing. Rachel, do you have any questions in chat? Okay, so I see one. You said that a best practice for utilizing AI is investing in quality data. Great question. So when it comes to AI, its output is only as powerful as your input. So if you want quality outcomes, you need to be putting in the quality data. So this comes back to when we mapped our donor journey and identified how data was flowing between your systems and ensuring that everything is working together and ending up in a centralized point. So as you engage across these channels, you need to ensure that all of your channels come together so that you can have a complete picture to give AI to work with. This would be one benefit of working with an all-in-one provider like CDS Global, where we can ensure that all of your systems are speaking to one another and that data is being recorded consistently so that you can use your data to its full potential, whether that's informing your teams or using AI. Any others? Look, chat. All right, so Rachel, I don't see any other questions. Is there another one?
Don't see any either.
Okay, so we should be good to go then. I hope this is helpful for everyone. And if there is anything further we can help with, certainly reach out.
Thank you everybody for joining, and thank you so much, Erin, for the great presentation. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.